Now, if you go through your bills at home, check that power bill, have a look at it and think, gee, wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to pay that, didn't have to put that amount of money away each time?
Oh, each quarter when it arrives. That's the thing. In 2019, it seems the only things that arrive in your mailbox are bills anyway.
Yeah, I know. And I often forget to look for them. The city of Springfield is already a city with no power lines, and they're all underground.
Well, I was going to say, they still have power lines.
Yeah, but
just
they're all underground. Now they want to do away with bills. This is a great idea.
They're working towards a zero net energy city by 2038. What on earth does that mean? Andrew Deme is the Energy Innovation Manager for the Springfield City Group. Andrew, what are you trying to do?
Hey, g'day. Lovely to meet you. Imagine if you didn't have a power bill, and in its simplest, imagine if you exported more than you generated. So therefore, you collected more money than you paid.
Which some people might do already if they've got a lot of solar panels on their roof, for instance.
Yeah, but a whole city. So that means you have to work as a community.
So what is your plan for Springfield then?
To encourage the uptake of solar, to encourage the uptake of hydrogen as a new technology for transportation, to integrate mobility and urban design and building design and digital.
Is that something that people are already doing there at Springfield now?
I think you'll find exactly what you said, Craig. I think you'll find people are doing this independently, but I think if we pull together as a community, I think we can make a much better outcome.
So how are you doing it? Is it up to individual residents to be putting solar on their roof? Is there a strategy by the Springfield Group to be investing in this? What's actually happening in that space?
So something that happened about 12 months ago is we signed a 50-year alliance with Engie. Engie is a French multinational, one of the largest power producers on the planet. And we've been working in the background for the last 12 months, developing a strategy in partnership with Engie and others, including Energy Queensland and the Queensland Government, to develop the plans, put them in place for basically a 20-year program. And by the end of 20 years, it'll be net zero, and the community will be generating more power than they use.
Okay, so you're saying residents of Springfield will not have a power bill by 2038?
They might have a power bill, but they might also be generating enough income as a prosumer to offset their power bill. So effectively, you've netted it out.
So you're saying they might be in credit, potentially?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I like prosumer. Is that what you called them?
Yeah, it's a name that they've given for customers who generate and sell and also buy. So they're a producer and a consumer. So prosumer.
I love it.
There's a new word for you this morning.
There is. Now, Springfield, I mean, when I suppose it was first being planned, it seemed like it was already forward-thinking when the plans were just on the table for Springfield. Would that be the case?
Yeah, I noticed Springfield. I live at Forest Lake, and I noticed Springfield about 25 years ago when they came out with a plan that included 30% green space in a master plan. And to their credit, they've stuck to their guns and they've stuck to the master plan. And one thing that we did a survey recently in the community, and they talk about how we're building a city.
Yeah,
as
great.
If, that everyone involved is actually excited about it, and certainly the school children as well.
So when it comes to this strategy, are all the Springfield Corporation buildings, do they have solar panels on the roof?
Not all, but they're well on the way. We started that process, and we're gradually deploying solar on all of those buildings, and we've done our first two. But the Mirvac Shopping Centre at Springfield has a megawatt of solar on the roof, and I think is one of the cleanest, greenest shopping centres in Australia.
Well, I was going to say, is that enough to power the shopping centre?
No, I can't imagine it's enough to power the shopping centre. I don't know the statistics fully, but you're making investments over the 20-year period.
Yep.
So over time, we'll gradually build to enough generation capacity where we can actually offset the power usage.
And residents would say, I love the idea of generating enough that I don't have a power bill, but I still have to pay for the solar panels on my roof. Is there going to be any sort of incentive scheme along those lines?
Oh, it's funny you asked. I'm imagining that later this year there might be an announcement in the next 3 to 4 weeks about a small trial where we actually do assist people to get solar in Springfield.
Gee, and it's something that could be replicated in Brisbane?
I think it's something, because the power industry is very similar world over, I think when you come up with good ideas and you talk to your friends, you can replicate across the world.
Do you know what? We've been told here by John that Springfield is not a city, it's a suburb of Ipswich, but we tend to call it the city of Springfield, don't we?
Oh, look, I call it a city of Springfield. I call it a city because I work there and I think it's growing into a city. It'll be a town the size of Darwin when it's completed. So, yeah, obviously a city.
Okay, and I'm just trying to picture all these solar panels, as you say, and the investment in hydrogen technology, which I know the Queensland government has been talking about. But what does that actually mean for Springfield?
So what that could look like, if you're a resident of Springfield, is you have a hydrogen refueling station, and that could be feeding hydrogen into a gas network, because about 10% of coal seam methane or gas in your gas pipelines can now be replaced with hydrogen. You can power buses with it, you can power trains with it, effectively a diesel replacement. But is it affordable today? Probably not. Is it worth investing in to make sure we get it right? Absolutely.
Yeah, so you're saying, look, this isn't for tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is a long-term strategy.
Absolutely.
20 years, 2038 is where you're looking at for these zero power bills.
Yep.
I better move to Springfield
I
between
think
now and
so.
then, if that's the case, to give this a real test, Andrew.
Well, think of the vision of Maha Sinnathamby and Bob Sharp was 25 years ago. We're just continuing that